All right. Yeah, right there. Put this up over here. All right. Hi, I'm Andre Koen. I want to say welcome and thank you so much for joining us as we do these trainings. So our intention is to give you tidbits of knowledge and tools in 5 minutes. And so, as many of you already know, we have in the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, we have an initiative that we're calling Everybody In. You may be familiar with that, and if not, you will be familiar with it very soon. And so, we're going to call these tidbits in five, right? Inclusion in 5 minutes. And so, we have a number of concepts that we're going to share with you. And so, we'll go ahead and get started right now. So the first thing, we're in times that are strange and ambiguous at best. And so what is required for that is critical thinkers. And so when we think about critical thinkers, we're asking people to utilize these 5 steps. Critical thinking. How to utilize these 5 steps of critical thinking to eliminate much of your worry and anxiety about the ambiguity that we're currently in. So if you want to be a critical thinker in these times of ambiguity, we ask you to think about these 5 things. First, identify the problem. The first step in critical thinking is recognizing what the problem is and not what the results are, right? So getting to the core issue or concern. So finding out what the problem is. Second, gather as much data, statistics, historical context as you possibly can. And that includes the distinct voice, right? So get as much information as you possibly can. Thirdly, evaluate all of your sources of information based on the context and the historical precedents of actions that have been taken in the past, right? So use these to evaluate your decisions. And then consider solutions. Use value-based and principle-based. Okay, let's back. In turbulent times, in ambiguous times, we need critical thinkers. So take these 5 steps to become a critical leader. Critical thinking. Utilize these 5 critical thinking. We're going to get this. Critical thinking. Utilize this 5-step process for being a critical thinker in times of ambiguity. First, identify the problem. The first step in critical thinking is getting to the root of what really is the problem and not just identifying the affects of the problem. So getting to the root of the problem. Secondly, gather information. Gather data, statistics, critical thinking. You utilize this 5-step process for becoming a critical thinker in ambiguous times. So first, identify the problem. The first step in critical thinking is identifying what the core of the problem is and not just addressing the affects. Secondly, gather information, data, statistics, and even the dissenting voice to help inform your process. Thirdly, evaluate based on evidence, context, Thirdly, evaluate based on evidence, context, and historical precedents. So what has been done in the past? What are you doing now? And what are others doing to address this concern? And then consider, fourthly, we'll come back. So, identify the problem. The first step in critical thinking is to identify the problem. Gather information, data, statistics, and the dissenting opinion. Evaluate based on evidence, context, so I can see that big, and historical precedents. Okay. We'll make this big as well and bold. Consider solutions based on organ based on organizational values, Okay, here we go. Let's do this. All right. Critical thinking. Employ these 5 techniques as you engage in critical thinking. First, identify the problem. The first step in critical thinking is to get to the core of the problem. Oftentimes, when managing or working with people, we recognize at their core, they are looking for safety, significance, and belonging. And so as a critical thinker, how do you help them to get their core? Critical thinking. Use this 5-step process to enhance your critical thinking skills. First, identify the problem. The first step in critical thinking is really analyzing and looking at what is the core of an individual's need or a problem that needs to be solved. Secondly, gather information, data, statistics,